Herbie, you're going to have a milestone birthday right before International Jazz Day in 2025. I believe you're going to be 85 in April, but that doesn't mean you slow down at all. You, over the last 6 months, have been, since Jazz Day, you've been out traveling. You were performing throughout the United States here. You were in Canada, and then from there, you went to New Zealand and Australia and China and just came back from Japan. We're going to really hone in on Jazz Day, but why don't we talk about the last few months and what your experiences have been going to all these different countries and what they may say about Jazz Day, but how you found personally that music impacts on these people's lives who come to your concerts and you interact with.
I had such great joy working in Southeast Asia, and we started in New Zealand, and then we went to Australia, and I think we played maybe nine or actually more than nine concerts in New Zealand, and it was an amazing tour. We after New Zealand, we went to Hong Kong, then we went to Beijing, went to Shanghai, Guangzhou, went to Macau. Uh, it was just amazing. The audiences were they were like family. And as a matter of fact, the feeling is that they were family. You know, we're all family. We're all one family. Actually, I learned that from this tour, that everybody in the world is part of one family. That's our species, humanity itself. You know, and we're living at a time of technological innovations that were unheard of when I was a kid. And things are moving faster than we ever thought would happen. And it's meaning that they're ahead of us is a bright future if we can actually bridge across that. I know the world is in a lot of trouble now. There's a lot of unrest, a lot of things that are happening because things are changing. Change is always difficult. Just remember how we learned how to walk. We learned how to walk by getting up and falling, sometimes falling on our faces, you know, so hurting ourselves. But what do? We get up again. We get up again and we learn how to walk. That's one of the first things we learn is how to walk. And it just shows that human beings have such a great capacity for being able to expand, to learn, and to accomplish things that maybe they didn't think they could accomplish before. But it, the future looks bright and dim at the same time. Which side are we going to choose? I think I know what we want, right? We want it to be bright. And I really feel like jazz is what's going to really help the world become this brighter place that we're looking for. What do you think, Don?
Well, I agree, Herbie. And I think that when we were in the early stages of establishing International Jazz Day, that there are always challenges in the world, but Jazz Day was created as a way to really bridge between cultures, between people. And it's needed now more than ever. But watching what has been done by our partners and organizers, many of whom are on the call today around the world, it's playing a huge role in helping humanity. And I think that with Jazz Day, and it was really a true vision you had from all of your travels for over a half a century around the world, that music can truly bring people together. And you've shared with me on many occasions that all those in an audience, you have no idea of their background, but they're a part of your family and they're a part of a family there. And that likewise with musicians on the stage, you bring them of all ages and backgrounds together. And this was a large part of establishing International Jazz Day. It's needed now more than ever, but it's had such a huge impact, and we believe will only continue to grow and resonate around the world.
Yeah, and you know, Tom, there will always be challenges. Challenges are a part of life, you know, and it's challenges that help us to grow.
Mhm.
Like we were saying, how would we ever learn to walk if we didn't fall,
Yeah,
right? So it
yeah,
all works together. That's what life is about. You know, everybody knows that, really.
yeah.
Uh, but it's exciting to be on this path with all of you because you've been such an important part of each step along the way to the growth of International Jazz Day and to this feeling that we have in our hearts of bringing the world together.
You know, Herbie, a part of International Jazz Day and a part of every April 30th is all this going on around the world, but there is a host city that is selected. And in that city, we have a series of programs that go on. It used to be only on April 30th on Jazz Day. Now it's many days and sometimes weeks leading up to it in the host city and in many of the locations around the world. But this year in 2024, back in April, we were in Tangier, Morocco, and had a phenomenal global concert. And we appreciate the support that everyone gives and tuning in to the concert. But this one was really special. It was not only the first one we'd been able to really be back in a host city after COVID, but it was the very first one on the African continent. And there's such a history there in Tangier with Ganawa music and Ganawa jazz and different others. And we opened a brand new facility, the Palace of Arts and Culture. So I thought maybe you would share a little bit of your experiences there because people watch you addressing the world and performing, but they don't get the real sort of inside of what Herbie Hancock experienced and what you thought. So why don't you share a little bit about the time there in Tangier?
What a beautiful building that was that we when we played. It was we opened the building
Mm-hmm.
and people poured in immediately, but some were so awestruck about the once they opened the doors and they saw how the beautiful construction of this building, you know, and so they finally came into to the hall and the concert began with Ganawan Band. And it was great to hear that. And they were surprised. They had no idea we were going to open with that. They thought we were going to open with playing some bebop or something. I don't know. But it all worked because we all worked together. That was what was important. And the performances from all the musicians was outstanding, you know. I mean, I was surprised at how great the players played from places that I've you know rarely been to, new people that I had never met, and it's not an easy thing to do to put on a concert like that because you're working with people that you're meeting for the first time, you know, playing some new arrangements. It's not uh, something where anybody makes a lot of money. As a matter of fact, we don't make money from playing from doing it. But everybody's having a great time, and it's sort of like being in a jazz club, but a larger one. But it was great. But we also got to see the beautiful city and see uh, the ocean and the Mediterranean Sea and how they come together right there. And it has such a rich history. I'm thinking about, you know, the fact that my ancestors are from Africa, you know. and that the slave trade went through there
Mhm.
uh, originally, you know, with the Portuguese bringing slaves across to the Americas. So I mean, there's just so much there, and in every country that we can all relate to in one way or another. Right now, um, I know I can go to a restaurant and eat food that where the uh, from every food from every country dining. I live in Los Angeles, and there's amazing restaurants here, so you can get a chance to taste the cuisine from various countries, and it's just a joy to be able to be exposed to uh, the what every country has to offer. What we all have to offer each other. That's these are things that we share. And anyway, it was a fantastic time that I had there. And I thank you, Tom, for suggesting that we have it there at Tangier and making it all work out.
Well,
Uh,
you referenced Herbie. The beauty about the global concert is that you're playing with people for the first time. And what we do and what's so unique about the global concert is there are no pre-bands that are out touring around the world, whether it's with a leader or multiple musicians, but it's all individual artists that are coming together to create bands for the evening, create the music, and it makes it so unique, challenging for the artist, but also very rewarding. And that's been something from the very beginning. You and I were talking the other day, and we chuckle now, but about the very, very first concert. Obviously, the first global concert was from the United Nations in 2012, but we had a morning concert in that morning in New Orleans, the birthplace of jazz in Congo Square, where you played with young people, students, young high school students from around the world, and they were playing in all the various countries. But we had cameras that were broadcasting from Rio de Janeiro, from Paris, from Cape Town, and you there in New Orleans. And I think that experiment prepared us for everything else we're doing because we never quite thought through that when they have these concerts around the world, when you're watching on New Year's Eve, they have bands, they shift from stage to stage. Instead, we had individual kids playing each of the instruments and choreographed it. So when you were playing piano, the others were playing piano, and so forth. But little did we know of the time delay. So there was a real preparation there. And so we worked through that and were able to have an amazing concert.
yeah, it was really fantastic. Uh, at that time, and still now, that technology hasn't developed to be able to really make music together from long distances, you know. But that's going to change very soon too. Now there's a whole new technology that I just heard about called photon f photonics, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's
Okay.
using light speed uh, for
Wow.
communication, and
So
and
how is that going to work, Herbie?
I have no idea. But they're those are going to be in much of the computer modules in the not too distant future. I mean, this is like just a few years away. They're being developed now, you
Well,
know.
one thing we have not done around Jazz Day is really incorporating AI, and it will obviously be growing more and more over the years. What are your thoughts around Jazz Day, but music in general, and the incorporation of artificial intelligence and how it can be used in a positive way? But your real thoughts on where it is now and where it will be moving forward.
The other day, now this is not about music, but it's about the arts. Just was it yesterday, I think? Yeah. uh, on my phone, my iPhone, right? I have there's artificial intelligence on it, and I I asked it to draw me a picture of my dog. I said the dog is a beagle and a border collie, and the dog is black, but it has some white like paws and some other features on its body. And within seconds, there's a picture, and it looked like my dog. And then I said, "Oh, can you put it in a living room with where there's a grand piano near the window?" Then seconds later, there's a different picture and with a different picture of a dog, but still same kind of dog, same kind of coloring as my dog. And there's a grand piano by our window, but there was no color in it. So I said, "Can you make it a little more colorful and put flowers in?" It did it. So, I mean, that was impossible years ago. It used a program called Dolly,
Mhm.
like Salvador Dali. That's what
Yes.
it stood for. Anyway, remarkable. I mean, for somebody to be able to do that within seconds from a phone, it's these are the times we're living in now, and it's only going to get better and better.
And how do you think this is going to impact on music, on jazz and music across the board, as far as composition and performance? And how can it be harnessed in such a way that is positive for the artist, is positive for the composer, for the audiences? But what do you foresee? Because your background, which many may know here, is you originally studied engineering. You're a techie that everyone from Stevie Wonder to Quincy Jones has relied on for years to sort of guide them. What is your sort of perception and thought on it?
Well, I can look forward to maybe one day being able to have a duet with my digital assistant. That's artificial intelligence. Um, and to be able to have it, uh, write out the music for me, put it on my computer. There's a song I want to hear, or music that I'm trying to put down and making an arrangement and having it help me to do that, you know, much quicker than I could by myself or even with another human person. So it's going to be very rewarding, you know. Now humanity needs to get itself together so we can teach it ethics because AI is like a child that was born by humanity itself. Just think about it. We're making these creatures, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're like they can be eventually other beings. So much is being done to actually. I think I heard recently that Elon Musk wanted to develop some artificial limbs and use his Neuralink technology for people who have lost limbs and people have lost limbs, sometimes from war or other accidents, to help them to walk. So, I mean, there's going to be so many things that are going to be happening much faster than they ever happened before. So there's so much to look forward to, and we as human beings uh, need to actually get our act together a lot more than we have been. But there will always be challenges, but we can learn from
Well,
challenges.
well, in our small way of trying to help with these challenges is obviously our work around International Jazz Day. And we want to not only thank everyone who's on the call for their support and what they're doing, but to very much encourage them that it's amazing. We're only 4 or 5 months away from next year's International Jazz Day, which is obviously on the 30th of April. And we want to make sure everyone registers at jazzday.com/register to register their events. We want to increase the number of events, so we encourage you to talk to your friends and colleagues in your cities, communities, countries, and anyone else you communicate with around the world to get them to participate as well. But Herbie, as you know, next year we're going to be in Abu Dhabi, UAE. We're excited. It's the first time in the Gulf region as we continue to expand the host cities around the world. And I believe you have actually performed in Abu Dhabi in the past.
Yes, I have. And I had a wonderful time there. Stayed at a fantastic hotel, ate great food. The ocean was, the sea was right there, you know, in front of my hotel. It was just wonderful. I had wonderful experiences. I went to a great mosque that was there, met amazing people, and yeah, I'm looking forward to being back in that area again, you know.
Well, and we're pulling together an amazing roster of artists that will be performing. And what we do want to encourage everyone on the call today also is to, as you're putting your events together and preparing, and when you present them later on, that you please share with us any photographs or videos, because we want to share all this with the world. It's important what we do there in the host city and the global concert, but what is equally important is these performances all over the world, and for people to realize that it's something that brings all nations together, all peoples together. And the real backbone of this is the organizers, our partners are on this call today. So I know we all want to thank them. I know, Herbie, you want to, as we're sort of bringing this call to an end. But I know this is going to be the first. We want to have another one of these calls in the spring, closer to Jazz Day, and want to do these more often so that we really feel like, as you refer to everyone on this call, as a family, that everyone feels like it is a family. And in some of the future ones, we'll have others joining us. But this was a way of introducing and having an opportunity for them to hear directly from you how important Jazz Day is and how important they are to you and our efforts. So, Herbie, I'll let you sort of wrap this up with whatever you'd like to say, and then we'll sign off and they can enjoy the few minutes of reflection of some of the things in the past.
Yeah, I again want to thank all of you for all the work you've done in the past and all the work you're going to do in the future. And I love all of you. And I look forward to being able to interact with you at some point in the future. Well, this is not an interaction. It's kind of one way in a sense. But I know you're on the call, and I really appreciate all of you. Thank you so much. We love you very much.
Well, and Herbie will be coming back. Any suggestions any of you have for future calls? We try to keep this to half an hour to 30 minutes so we're not overstepping our bounds with their time, because we know how valuable their time is. But we'll be back with everyone in April. And I hope before we sign off, there may be some way, maybe we will have to do it the next call, that our technical people might be able to show some of the people around the world on the screen as we're sort of signing off here. But if not, we'll certainly do it on the next call. But thank you, everyone, for all of your efforts, all that you're doing. And we're looking forward to next April 30th.
Thank you. Thank you.